Welcome to episode 15, where today we're going to talk about solving trust issues in your relationship.
What a great topic.
Oh, yeah, and I know you're listening like, damn, I knew I was going to have to figure this out eventually.
You're like, oh, man, hold on, let me check my phone.
So trust issues are something that a lot of people suffer from.
Correct.
Right? And it comes from both ends, the guy and the girl. And sometimes we don't even realize we're creating these issues and we're not sure how to fix them. And it leads to arguments. It leads to breakups. It leads to breaks.
Unnecessarily, too.
Exactly. Texting wars, just not talking to each other for days. It's all stupid and preventable. And we're going to teach you how. So,
how not to do it.
Exactly. So first topic, and it's simple. It's straightforward. Just be trustworthy. Right? And what I mean is keep your partner up to date on what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying, because I know the guys out there are like, what do you mean? I got to tell her everything.
Do I have to be on Life 360 and have, watch every move I make?
You don't have to give them a play-by-play of your entire day, but just keep them
abreast.
Up to date. Abreast. There you go. I like
There's
that.
a word.
And, if you're, especially for a partner you don't live with, because obviously they're not at your house, they don't see what you're doing or know what you're doing. So if you go to work, give them a general idea of, hey, this is around the time I work. So they just have an idea of what your day is like. And actually, pardon me, this becomes more important for someone you do live with, because let's say you decide to stop by the store on the way home and they expect you normally get home at 5:45 p.m. That's your time. And it's 6:15 and they're like, what the hell are you saying? What's going on?
Right.
And they might start thinking things, right? Whereas if you were just forthcoming,
right,
and said, oh, babe, by the way, I'm stopping by the store, so I'll be home a little late. Boom. Then she knows what to expect.
And I think sometimes too, I know not so much right now, but say co-workers or a friend or whatever wants to go have a cocktail after work, have a drink, have a beer, grab something quick to eat, just catch up a little bit. If you don't tell your significant other, hey, I'm going to go hang out with, Bob for a bit at the bar. We're going to have a beer and we're going to just chill and connect a little bit, catch up. The other person is home wondering like, where are they? Maybe you don't have your phone or it's in your pocket. You're not answering their text messages and you come home and you smell alcohol, and it's going to cause a whole cascade of events that don't need to happen if he or she just said, look, I'm going to hang out for a little bit after work and I'll be home at 8.
Exactly. And when you come home, if you come home to a barrage of questions and assumptions, understand that you created that. You did not let the other person know what you were doing, because put yourself in their shoes. They're out somewhere, you're texting them, and it might even start off like, oh, I saw this funny thing I wanted to tell you about, and then you don't hear from them. An hour goes by, 2 hours. Now, again, you don't need to communicate with your significant other every minute of the day. But if more than a usual amount of time goes, if an unusual amount of time goes by and they start thinking things, just know you are setting up an appointment for a problem.
And it can easily happen. I can only speak for women, but we've all ladies been in the situation where we text, your husband, boyfriend, significant other, whatever. And you don't get that response back, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's like we definitely go into that mode of we start to think things, and it can sort of just take on a life of its own. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. We are so good at imaginations. So,
yep.
And then the next thing you know, you're having this huge argument with your significant other that you don't really need. And we sometimes, ladies, I'm sorry, but we do create some of our own issues just because our imaginations and our hormones get a little bit intertwined.
It's true. And speaking from the man standpoint,
I've done it, so I know.
Yeah, and we're going to get into this in a little bit more depth down the road, is women like reassurance. They like to hear things, right? So if you tell them, part of how women function is that they like closure on things, right? Men, we don't need as much, but women like closure. They like to hear things. They like to know what's going on, so that they don't create these stories, because there's a finality that they want to know about in advance. Okay, where are we going? What are we doing? So if you just let them know, you prevent those issues. Now, also, another simple thing. Don't do stupid things that make your partner question you, right? Like messaging women on social media, and then they happen to see your page and, who's this bit?
Right.
And, oh, no, it's no one. All right, well, you're already caught with your pants down, so it's maybe literally and figuratively. But you have to, don't be stupid. If you get a message from a girl, right, and you think they might see it or it's just, it might be a problem, just tell them about it.
Right.
Hey, if you're trying to do something shady, that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Exactly. and honestly, but if this message comes in and you think your girlfriend might see it or somebody might reach out to her and say something, just be the first to tell her, hey, babe, I just wanted to let you know, this girl messaged me on social media. There's no interest there. I'm just letting you know that something came through.
Full disclosure. But it's interesting that you bring that up because I think that opens up the topic that I wanted to bring up in this podcast is when you have a feeling that you want to look through your partner's cell phone. And, I hear it a lot from different people, friends, girlfriends, I got into his phone and I saw some things I didn't want to see. And then a big argument ensues because he's mad that you broke his privacy, which I understand. But she's upset because she thinks now that you're cheating or carrying on or doing something behind her back. So it turns into this really ugly mess. And, I have issues with that because, like, ladies, the minute you think you need to look through his phone, there's a problem. And you know what? You're always going to have that problem. It's like, it's a slippery slope. And when you open that door, it's hard to go back and not always want to look in the phone. And I don't think he's going to trust you either. I mean, I don't know, Christian, your phone is around a lot. Our phones are always on the table. We're working together. He'll run out and run an errand or whatever. But like, I never have that feeling. I never have that feeling to pick up your phone and look through it. I just don't. And that's a good feeling. I'm not anxious about it. I never worry about it. I don't think about it. But I do know friends and people that have told me they've done it. And it's ugly. And they feel terrible about it. But they've also seen things they don't want to see. So why be in a relationship that has no trust? You're never going to feel good. You're going to always have that anxiety feeling, that stressed feeling, that are you doing something feeling, where are you? Then that's just, it opens the door to a lot of probably issues that don't need to be there.
Yes.
That's just my thought process
on
it.
If you feel like you need to look through your partner's phone, and granted, you're not a person that is just always making up stories on their own, because this does happen.
Yes.
Especially like with really, really young individuals, like in high school, chicks are crazy. I'm just going to tell you. Right? Oh my God, I saw you looking at that girl in the hallway. You're like, I'm looking that way. Stop.
Yeah.
But when it comes to mature relationship, our gut was put there for us to listen to, right?
Correct.
Gut instinct.
Yes.
How many times
Very
have
powerful.
you listened to, I'm talking to you, not you listening to this podcast right now. How many times have you listened to your gut and it was correct?
People are shaking their heads while they're driving
exactly.
and listening or whatever they're doing.
Exactly. And same thing with me. Every time I listen to my gut, it's right. It's there we have an intuition, right? And if you feel that there's an issue, then it needs to be brought to the other person. Don't just go snooping, because then you're no better than them. Let's say you do find something in there, a text message. Oh, hey, I'll meet you here or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you, oh, no, or sexting. You find some pictures. But you're already sneaky also. They're being sneaky, and now you've just brought yourself to their level.
Right.
Oh, I caught you. But what did you just do? You broke trust also.
You got to admit the fact. Well, how do you know this?
Yeah, well, I looked at your phone. Exactly. So the best thing you can do is say, and approach the person calmly, right? The whole cooler heads prevail thing does hold weight.
It does work.
You come to them and say, because you don't know what the deal is.
Right.
Right? If you haven't looked in their phone, you don't know what the deal is. Approach them as if nothing's even happened, as if they're innocent. Hey, I'm just getting this sort of feeling. I don't know why I have it. Maybe you have no idea. If you do know, you saw something, then bring it up. But I'm just sort of feeling some sort of way. And then the conversation starts. Oh, and then from the other person's end, oh, I'm curious why you feel that way. And then you guys just start talking it out.
Right. It works. It definitely works. And actually, it's interesting because I want to share this, and Christian obviously will remember this. I don't know, it might have been a few months back, but I was on Instagram going through some pictures, and I saw that Christian had liked a picture of a girl we both know and or both follow, and in respect. But it was for some reason it evoked a response in me. at that particular moment. Like, why did you like this photo? I don't know why I felt that way, but I did. So instead of like getting all mad or not saying something and being like, everything's fine, what's the matter with you? Fine, I'm fine. That's another thing I can't stand that people do. But I just said to him, like, why did you like this picture? I think I even said that I'm feeling a certain way about this. Why did you like this? And he was like, oh, we both respect, follow this, that. And we had a conversation around it. And then I felt better afterwards. So it's not to say, social media is a gift and a curse for relationships. It can, I've seen it ruin many relationships, but I think we need to keep things in context. And, there are people that I follow that are men that are bodybuilders or whatever. And, there are women that Christian follows that for whatever reason. But, it's out of respect for a sport or some kind of character that we respect or admire in this person. So we just have to keep things in the right context, because it's easy to go off the deep end with that stuff easily. But that's just something I wanted to share, because it's something that we talked about and then it was done. It was over. And then it was a non-issue versus, oh my God, I can't believe, you guys all know conversations.
Yes. So, and this is a good topic to dive a little bit more into right now, because social media is such a ubiquitous thing. Everyone, everyone's on it, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram. Okay, there's a couple different topics to talk about regarding this. The first thing is everyone's got to have a reality check. Just because you're in a relationship, you are not the only attractive person to your partner in the world, right? If anyone tells you that, they're lying to you. Hence, trust, right? If your partner comes up to you right now and says, babe, am I the only attractive woman to you in the world, or man to you? And they're like, oh, yeah. You're the only one I think is, you're like, just, you know what? You might as well end a relationship there, because they're already lying to you. We all find people attractive. We've all seen the image where the guy's walking down the street and a cute girl walks by and he peeks and his girlfriend catches him and slaps him. It's like, all right, well, don't be an idiot and just like gawk at some other girl.
Yeah, there's a level of respect.
Yes, but understand that as a let's say from the woman's side to the man, as a woman, your man is designed to procreate, right? We're getting into a little biology here. We are very, very tied to what we see. That's why men fall in love with their eyes, women fall in love between the ears, right?
Right.
So biology pushes that. It's obviously up to us to be civilized and respectable and not just give in to every piece of flesh we see. Now, on the other end, we talk about the pictures that people post on social media. So if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend that's always posting racy pictures, right?
Yep.
Like you have a girlfriend, right? That's always spread eagle online and, oh, that's my baby. Yeah. And you're like, you know what? I'm not because I know people whose girlfriends have posted pictures and the guy said to them, like, babe, listen, I get it. You want to be sexy and people to see, but I'm not comfortable with you in a thong. Right, grabbing your ankles on social media.
It's true,
and you've got to respect that. If your partner is uncomfortable with that, well, then you have to come to some sort of compromise and understand and decide what's more important. Now, if you're doing it because you're a model for something and you're getting paid for this and this is your career, well, that's different, right? If you're Victoria's Secret and you're prancing around on stage, well, that's what you do. But if you're just doing this to get likes, you're facing some insecurity issues, and your man or your woman, because guys post ab pictures too, and where the pants pulled down, where everything's almost showing, you have to decide, is me posting these pictures and getting likes more important than me making than my relationship, me making my partner happy.
Sometimes people, sometimes you might find you're not in the right relationship. If a partner is doing any of those things that we just discussed and isn't willing to stop or respect your feelings around it, maybe you're not in the right relationship also. You also have to be with the right person, and you can't just hang in there because you're afraid of being alone, or you don't want to break up with someone, or you're just going to, go with the flow. I mean, if you're uncomfortable in a relationship for whatever reason and you discuss it, you still can't come to terms with it or come to some kind of compromise with it, then that might be a time for you to move on. I mean, that's the reality of something also. Why live in a relationship that's not suiting you or you don't feel complete in? That's not a good place to be either.
Yes. And, to take another second to dive back into the social media aspect, if you see your partner has liked someone's photo, a good thing to do is to stop and think about what's making you upset. Now, something that I often see is that a person will look at the person's photo who was liked and compare themselves to them. Well, I don't look like this person. I'm thinking my partner likes what they look like more, so maybe they're interested in that person and not me, right? And you've got to stop and think, again, like I mentioned before, we are not the only attractive people to our partner.
Right.
So it's like on both ends. A girl might notice a guy who's, it happens all the time, especially us being in the world we're in, the fitness world. People are always wearing tight stuff and nothing. But the reality is that having insecurities is something that a lot of people have, but you can't let them take control of you,
right?
And get out of control. So if you notice somebody likes something, take a second. And if it makes you uncomfortable, again, tell the person, hey, it makes me feel some sort of way, and just let the conversation happen, because you're both going to start to figure out where you each stand.
Right.
Hey, all right, babe, I understand. I don't, I won't like those pictures anymore. Or you might say, listen, this has nothing to do with me being sexually attractive. I just support this person for what they do.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's best. And I think if you look at something on social media and your partner's involved in some way, and it makes you feel a certain way or elicits a certain response in you, you have to address it. Granted, if you feel emotional about it when you see it, you're like, oh, you get that flush feeling in your face and your stomach sort of gets that funky feeling. You guys all know what I'm talking about. It's that response. Let it pass for a minute. Go outside, take a walk, get some fresh air in your face. Deep breath. Really get rational, and then say, hey, look, I want to talk to you. You may, after you get rational, say, it's not a big deal. I'm cool. It's just, I just overreacted to yourself. But if you still feel it's unresolved, then yeah, absolutely. You have to have a conversation around it. Because if not, you know what? You're always going to hold it. And the next time you see something else that might give you a nudge like that, it's going to just start to pile up and build up and build up. And you're going to really get upset about it and get angry. And everything could have been avoided if you had just brought it up initially and put it to rest. And then when you see something and you're like, oh, it's cool. We already talked about it. I got it. And you move on. Why have the same arguments over and over about the same things? What a waste of time.
That's true. And if it keeps coming up, then it might be time to take a break. And I wasn't even really going to go into this in this podcast, but I think I want to touch on it a little bit, is that if you're in a relationship and you notice there's trust issues and you seem to always get into spats, you're always in little arguments.
Right.
I've told friends, take a break from each other. And what do I mean by this? A break is when you each give each other space, right? Don't call each other every day. Be in separate locations, even if it's like, let's say you live together. Obviously, you're going to be in each other's face. Yeah, it's a little tougher. But hey, if it's in the realm of possibility, stay in a hotel for a couple days. Because what this does is it allows you to stay apart from each other, and you'll figure out a few things. Do you miss the person?
Right.
Because if you don't miss them, or miss just having them around, then that's something to think about. Well, maybe I really don't value them that much.
Right.
When you're apart, are you missing some of the good times? Like, you might notice that life was so much happier when I had them around. Like, I was laughing all the time and doing all these fun things. And now you don't have that. Well, now you're starting to understand the value of them in your life. So it gives you perspective. Oftentimes, the good way to get an idea of things is to step back and get a look at things from the big picture. When you remove yourself from the elements, you let time pass, you let feelings cool off or invigorate. Sometimes your passion for them might reignite, but space is important. And another way you can do that is you can pick certain days where you might say, babe, let's do a little test. Or let's do a little, what do you want to call this?
Experiment?
Yeah. Let's call it an experiment. And think back to hunter-gatherer days, right? Or in the Crusades, when the men would go away and do their soldier thing during the day, and the women might stay back at the camp and tend to whatever, the kids, the food, the fire, whatever it might be.
And there was no texting.
Exactly. So all day long, the woman had, and the man had all this time to just fantasize about his woman, and I miss her, I can't wait to get home tonight.
That was their inspiration to go back, too.
Yes. And the problem now is that there's always access. Right. You're messaging each other on social media. You're text messaging each other. You're FaceTiming. You're WhatsApping. You're doing all these things, and you're in each other's face. And it's always like, oh, my God, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? What are you doing? You hang up first. No, you hang up first, And you got to, get away from the cutesy stuff because sometimes it can get annoying, but also distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? So if you give yourself space from each other, you're that much more excited when you come home to see each other.
And it adds dimension to your relationship. So, being on top of someone 24/7 is not helpful. I mean, granted, everybody has to go to work during the day, although right now people have been around 24/7 with the pandemic. But it's good to have your own life separate of the relationship. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. It's good you have a career, or, you like to go to the gym, or you have another hobby that you're interested in. It's good for you to go do the things, to pursue the things that get you excited as a person. Your partner doesn't have to do every single thing with you. So, your guy should be able to go with his friends and paintball. If that's his thing and you're not really into it, go, honey, go have fun. I'll see you tomorrow or tonight or whenever. Or if she's going to the spa with the girls, have a blast. Because when you come back together, now you have things to share. Like, oh my God, we were paintballing and someone got shot between the eyes. It was hilarious, but just whatever. There are things to share with each other, and it just adds more dimension to your relationship. And I think it adds more foundation, and it definitely adds trust, because you're like, oh, Christian's gone for the weekend with his buddies. They went camping. It's, that's not my thing, but I'm happy that he's with his friends and connecting. And, it's a great way to build on your relationship when you can spend time apart and not be like, oh my God, I miss you so, like, it's okay to miss the person, because when you see them, you're going to be happy to see them. And that's a great way to be, versus having someone around you 24/7. What's that other expression? Familiarity breeds contempt. In the beginning, things people would do, oh my God, he's so cute when he does that. Now you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna freaking kill him if he does that one more time.
You always leave the toilet seat up. You leave the toothbrush dirty. You squeeze the toothpaste the wrong way. And blah, 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 blah. So and this is really important for those of you who've been together for 20 years, 30 years. Like, it's time for some
lifers.
Lifers, yeah, because you can, and this is another lie that people are told. Oh, you're just going to love your partner, not love them, but be ecstatic about them every single day and just butterflies in your, no. Okay? You wake up next to the same person for 30 years, shit changes.
Most of them are sleeping in separate beds anyways, in rooms by that time anyways.
So what better way to make...
But that's okay. That's not a bad thing.
To allow yourself to start to miss each other or wonder about each other. What are they up to?
Yeah,
Take some time apart. If you have...
In a good way.
Okay, if you have a best friend's house, hopefully it's the same sex as you, go chill at your...
Careful what you say these days.
If it's possible, go chill at your friend's house for a couple days.
Yeah.
I've had friends do that where they've come to my house and chilled because they're like, yeah, we're just spending a couple days apart, because it lets us miss each other. And then when they go back, they're like, oh, it's been so, and it, like Linda said, it adds just a dimension. It just shakes things up. It makes it interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just other things to talk about other than just sort of getting bored with each other and looking at each other all the time. And there's nothing new to add to it.
Yeah.
But, trust is just so important. It's really the glue that holds a relationship together. And if you don't have that connection, that glue, you have disconnection. And it's not a healthy place to be. And, we see so much of it now in the world we live in for lots of different reasons. Social media, just being able to have whatever we want at our fingertips pretty fast. Relationships can change really quickly. And so it's important to have that glue that always there, keeping you guys stuck together, but you're able to still pursue things outside of the relationship and feel good about it. Not like we've all, look, guys and girls or ladies that are listening to this, we all know when we've been somewhere, we're like, oh, I need to, I've been gone too long, or I haven't, you get that feeling of like, I got to get back. And like, that's just not a good feeling if you know that you're going to come home and your woman's waiting there tapping her finger, like, and something's going to go down, or vice versa. Right. So, and it's just, it can be easily avoided.
Mm-hmm. Now, another important thing is to disclose your thoughts and feelings. Now, I can certainly speak from the man's standpoint that is something as men we don't do enough of, right? So sometimes as men we assume if we tell our girl we love them once, they just know, right? Like, and then a girlfriend might be like, babe, do you love me? And you're like, I do.
I do.
They're like, yeah, but I want to hear it. You're like, but I just said it like last week, right?
I think I'm guilty of that.
And my encouragement to you is to tell them every day. Something I've learned about the masculine and feminine dynamic is that women like reassurance. It's part of how they're wired. And as men, we are more the hunters. We're silent. We just, right? So I always love to refer to civilizations long ago when humans did what humans were born to do, right? Hunter-gatherers. So when men are out to hunt, you have to be quiet because if you talk, you're going to scare the animal away.
Right.
And then the other men will never hunt with you again.
Is that why women didn't go hunting most of the time? Because
well...
Oh my God, I love those new shoes you have.
Oh my God. And then the deer runs and he's like, oh my God, come on. So then, when the women are back at the camp, they're talking with each other and they're communicating and building relationships and taking care of the kids. And exactly. And talking and building culture and sharing stories.
Right.
And the men, after they're done, they come back, and then they chat once the hunt is over.
Right.
But the problem is that, I shouldn't say the problem, but the way we're wired is that we speak less. That's why sometimes a woman will ask a man something and he's just like, right? You just give a grunt or a noise.
You get a simple answer.
A very simple answer. Whereas you might ask a woman, hey, how you feeling? And then you get, oh my God. So I just got done talking to my mother and you believe the shoes and I went to the library and my book's overdue. And oh my God. And you're like,
I didn't want all that.
It's been 30 minutes. I was just, I want to know if you wanted something to eat.
I want to know what's for dinner.
Yeah. So just understand that even if you don't necessarily have the urge to tell them, just do it anyway. I've personally can speak from personal experience where I've had thoughts about telling my significant other that I love them.
Oh.
Right? But I didn't do it just because I was in the middle of something else, right? And I've got myself to the point now where if I have that feeling, I just send a message or I'll come out and say it in person. And I find what it does is that it opens up the floodgates for communication and trust.
Right.
Because now you give your partner reassurance that you do love them because they're always going to ask you. Women will always ask you, like, do you love me? How do you feel?
Right.
And when they stop asking you, that's when there's a problem. And they might stop caring. And you're getting towards the end of your relationship.
And it's true. It's as our relationship has grown and we learn more about each other, I understand what you need and how you want me to be or act or treat you, and by now I think you know what I need, but because I've shared that with you. So, and it's good. Like, we grow that way. Like, we're constantly growing and we constantly have discussions about our relationship. And I said something to you the other night. I'm like, sparing a pandemic, but I'm like, remember when we used to have like date night Saturday? Like, we used to go out and do stuff, and a song came on the radio the other day in the gym, and it made me think of a night that we had a date in the very, very beginning. So, and I'm just like, remember those days? But it's
what was it, Rick James Superfreak? No.
But so it's important. And it's appreciated.
It is. Just say it.
It goes a long way.
And men,
it goes a long way.
For some of you, this will be uncomfortable. This will be uncomfortable. It's been that way for me. I grew up in a household where my dad was not the best at expressing his emotions, and that's just the way he was raised. That's how his family was. And I took that on, and it took a lot of work, a lot of patience, and a lot of personal development and personal growth to actually start doing this, because I would sort of feel weird. I'm like, why? Like, don't you just know? Like, I would say it once and like, all right, we're good for about 3 weeks, all right? And after a while, I realized, like, then the question would come more. So how do you feel? So do you love it? And I'm like, all right, so I get it. I have to start saying it. And the fact that it was uncomfortable told me, well, you should probably be doing it. Mm-hmm. So tell your partner that you love them, that you appreciate them, that you enjoy spending time with them, that you trust them.
Yes.
Even though we're talking about all the things that can help build trust in a relationship, actually telling your partner that you trust them. Like, hey, babe, I just wanted to tell you that, I love you very much. I appreciate you, everything you do for me, and I trust you very much.
Right.
Just giving them the reassurance, now they know, they become more confident and invested in the relationship because they know how you deeply feel. They're not wondering, because when you wonder, there's just a bridge that can't be connected there. There's a gap that's created.
It's not a good place to be to wonder. So both men and women need to share that, because women can be like that too. Women can get caught up in whatever they're doing, especially if it's a if it's a woman that has a a high profile or a stressful job or a career, who travels a lot, and it can be an issue too, because the guy might be like, God, she's never around, and we hardly have any quality time together. And so, it's important for both to do it, not just men, but ladies, we need to do it also. And even if you don't have that kind of a career, it's still, hey, honey, I appreciate you so much. I know you're working hard to keep this relationship strong, or whatever it is that you feel, but you've got to express these things, because if not, people wonder, and imaginations take over, and emotions take over, and it can just be a recipe for assumption, disaster, fights that don't need to happen.
Mm-hmm. And here's a tip for some of you. If you want to see your partner do things more often that they might not be so into, tell them you find them sexy when they do it. This is something I learned a while back, where one partner might be very, very into fitness and the other sort of meh, right? Sometimes I work out, sometimes I don't. Be like, babe, I think it's really sexy when you come home sweaty from the gym. Then they're like, oh, really? And they go to the gym, start sweating it up, and then they, Then it becomes something you can share together, and they know, like, ooh, he likes seeing me do this. Or vice versa. The woman might say, like, hell, you've been putting on some size, huh?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, yes, I have, right?
Oh, that's a great way to get to. Guys love that stuff.
Oh, my God, yeah. So then, they start going to the gym.
A little muscular.
Yeah, getting her swole on, and then before you know it, you guys are sharing, like, a fitness journey together.
Right.
So...
oh, that's like what we're doing.
So remember that whatever you want to see, tell it to them with a little bit of encouragement, with a little bit of emotion. Like, I find this sexy when you do this. And chances are they'll probably start doing it.
The bottom line, I think, is if you're with someone that you really love and respect and really, really want to be with and trust, make the investment in the relationship to do all the right things for that person and for the relationship. Most of us know, I think, when we're in a relationship that we really probably don't belong in anymore, whether you're just dating someone or you're married to someone, or, So if you're in a great relationship, and I feel like I'm in a great relationship with you, he's rolling his eyes so you can see that right now. But I make the effort to give and help him when he needs me, and because he does the same for me. And it's a part of building trust in a relationship is give and take. And if he needs something, he knows he can ask me to do anything. I'd help him with anything. And the reverse is true too. So make the investment if you're with someone that is quality and that you really love. Take the time. If you're in an kind of relationship, then maybe examine that and keep things in perspective.
That's true. And some closing basic principles to creating trust are: do what you say you're going to do, right? You are only as good as your word. And if you tell your girlfriend, oh, babe, we're going to go out on date night, and you don't do it, oh, I'm busy, oh, I got a meeting, I can't, then you're going to end up being a disappointment. And when you say these things, they're not going to look forward to it, or they might end up giving your time to someone else. So if you say you're going to do something, if you make a promise to your partner, keep it, period. If something changes and you can't do it, then tell them in advance. Let's reschedule, but give them a plan. Show them what's going to happen in the future. Oh, babe, we can't do it today, but we're going to do it tomorrow. I promise nothing's going to get in the way. Give them reassurance. Also, admit your mistakes. This is something I see a lot of couples struggle with, and this is on both ends, men and women. The pride, right? Too prideful. Well, it's your fault that this happened. Usually when a problem happens between two people, you're both responsible to some degree. And I just automatically say 50-50 just to keep it simple. And it's easier for you to say, you know what? Just find the portion that you could have done better at and just bring that up. You know what, babe? I totally understand. I apologize. I could have done this better. Even if you know it wasn't 100% your fault, it's partially your fault. So just speak about what you're going to work on. That'll make her say, yeah, you know what? I could have done this too. You know what? All right, next time this is what we'll do. You kiss, you make up, and then you move on. Instead of you don't talk to each other for 3 days, and you're both angry, and you're cursing at each other and telling you you wouldn't believe what he did. So the other thing is, don't make fun of your partner, right? If they're
Wait, what?
if they're taking
Wait a minute.
genuinely, you know, if you and I'm not talking about just playing around.
I mean, all you do is pick on me all freaking day
long.
That's
very true.
I mean, so
that's true.
I think you need to take some of your own advice there, Mr. Podcaster.
So,
Mr. King Christian.
So, if your partner's on a journey, like, and I like to bring up fitness because I've seen this happen, where one spouse might choose, you know what, I want to get in shape. I haven't been feeling great. I really want to change my life. And they start doing things. And it might start simple, something cute, like, okay, I'm going to eat a salad for lunch every day. And that's what you might know how to do, and that's your start. And your other partner's like, yeah, well, I bet it's not going to work this time. You've tried so many other times before. It's like, don't be a dick. Excuse me. Just don't be an idiot. Like, encourage them. You know what? I think it's great that you want to change your life. Whatever, let me know what you need. I'm here to support you. Exactly. Even if you don't want to join them. But don't put them down. Yeah. You're just a POS if you do that.
That's bad.
Because this person loves you. They invest their time and emotion into you. Don't crush their dreams. Support them.
Yes.
The other thing is trust takes time. It's something that is not overnight. So if you're in a new relationship, don't expect this to happen by next week.
Right. You got to pay. You got to put.
This takes years.
You got to build it and grow it.
Yeah.
And water it, nurture it. It's like a plant.
Exactly.
Plant the seed and do all good soil, water, sunlight. All positive, good things that you're going to put into this relationship, put into that seed, that crop, and nurture it so it can grow into what you want it to be and bear the fruit that you want to get from it.
Exactly. So think of any relationship you have in your life. It's always taken time to trust this person, whether it's your best friend, your parents. Obviously we're with them since we're a baby, so that's a little different, but still it takes time. Ask for help, right? And the reason why I say this is that when you ask for help, it shows your partner that you value their opinion. A woman will often ask a guy like, babe, do you think I look good in this outfit? And being an honest man, you should give them your honest opinion. You know what? I like that one a little better. Don't necessarily have to say they look bad, but be like, you know what? I like that one, but I like this one better. It's all in the delivery. Right? Yeah. And or if they ask you about the shoes, don't be like, it doesn't matter. Let's just get out of here. We're late.
Right.
Take a second and say, you know what? Just step back. Grab the chin in the thinker's position. You know what? I like the black shoes better.
Right.
She'll love you forever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
And you'll be out of there.
Yeah, and she's going to know, okay, I think he thinks I look good in this. Okay, boom.
Exactly.
And she'll wear it with more confidence.
Mm-hmm. And you'll get out of the house faster.
Exactly.
And you'll avoid an argument.
Exactly. And lastly, just discuss everything in person, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we see this portrayed in movies, and it's stupid because it makes people think this is how life should be. If you have a problem with your spouse, do not send them a text message while they're at work. We need to talk. Oh, my God. I can flip this table over right now for all the people I've seen that happen to.
A texting war is just a huge waste of time.
Because this person's out at work and they have to focus. They're trying to do a great job in what they're doing. And now the rest of the day they have to think about, well, what does this mean? What do you mean we have to talk? Obviously, you think there's a problem.
Yep.
Or if you have to send that text right then, tell them what it's about. Babe, we have to talk. I'd like to talk about this. So at least they know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Don't drop the, we need to talk. You just wait till wait till you get home. No, don't do that. It's immature.
It is.
It's what we do in kindergarten.
It incites emotion and all kinds of bad feelings.
Exactly. So just, ideally don't send them the message. Wait till they get home. Talk about it in person.
Exactly.
But if you must, tell them what it's about before. Don't pull the, we need to talk.
Yeah, that's just not cool. I agree. So there you have it. We solved all the trust issues. You guys have to go off now and have these amazing, trustful relationships. And we want to hear from you to let us know, how things are going. I mean, it's important to us that we bring you the best of what we have, and we want you guys to grow from what we share with you.
Exactly. And because we give you guys this information to better your lives, like Linda said, we would love your feedback. We'd love to hear stories from you guys. Hey, I had a talk with my partner, and we're doing so much better in this aspect of our relationship because we actually communicated. Mm-hmm. That's good for us. We love hearing that you guys are succeeding and you're living better lives. And that just motivates us to help you guys more because we enjoy doing it. So
definitely.
Until next time, communicate.
Adios.